Before we begin, you know the drill. Please press that like button and the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Okay, let's get into it. We all rely on security alerts to keep us safe, right? But what if the alert itself is the weapon? Today we are breaking down a really sophisticated and kinda scary new phishing threat. It targets you by looking like it comes from a source you're trained to trust, Microsoft Azure.
So, could a security alert from Microsoft actually be a trap? It's a wild question, but it's one we absolutely have to ask. And the answer, unfortunately, is a big yes. Cybercriminals have found an incredibly clever way to turn a trusted notification system against you. Understanding how they do it is the first and most important step to keeping yourself safe.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with a quick refresher on what a phishing scam is. Then we'll unmask this specific Azure callback attack, the main event. After that, we'll jump straight into your immediate defense plan, the stuff you can do right now. And finally, we'll look at building a long-term, proactive shield. Let's get to it.
Okay, Section 1. First, let's lay down the groundwork. To really get why this new threat is so effective, we need to be crystal clear on the classic strategy it's built on top of.
At its core, phishing is a game of deception. It's a digital con job. Attackers dress up as a company you know and trust, your bank, a big tech company, whatever. They use all the right logos, the right professional language, all to create a message that seems legit. And what's the goal? Well, it's to exploit our natural instinct to trust them, tricking us into handing over our sensitive information. It's really an attack on people, not just on technology.
All right, now for the main event. Let's look at how they've taken that classic phishing idea and turned it up to 11. We're not talking about a simple misspelled email here. This Azure Monitor attack is a way more advanced and, frankly, a dangerously effective version of the scam.
The bad guys are using what's known as a callback campaign. And here's the kicker. They are exploiting the legitimate, the real Microsoft Azure service to send their traps. This isn't a lookalike email or a fake domain. The weapon is coming from inside the house.
And this is the absolute heart of the problem. That alert email? It's sent from a real Microsoft address. Because of that, it just sails right past all the standard security filters that are supposed to catch fakes. You know, things like SPF, DKIM, DMARC, they all give it a green light because technically the email is legitimate. That's what makes this so brilliant and so incredibly dangerous. So how in the world do they pull this off? Well, it's a four-step playbook. First, they get into someone else's Azure account and create a fake alert rule. Step 2, they inject their own fraudulent message and a malicious phone number right into the alert's text. 3, Azure's system does its job and dutifully sends this now weaponized alert to the target. And finally, Step 4, the panicked recipient calls the number and the attacker on the other end uses social engineering to steal whatever they want.
And here's the bait. To get you to panic and act without thinking, the alert will mention something alarming, like a surprise charge for, say, $390 for a Windows Defender. Your first instinct is to immediately call that number to figure out what's going on, and of course, that's exactly what they're counting on.
Okay, so we get the threat. Now how do we fight back? Let's switch gears from the problem to the solution. Here are 3 super important steps you and your team can take, like today. Your defense plan really needs 3 key things. First, educate your team. Your people are your human firewall. They're the most important line of defense. Second, build a culture of pause and verify. Always question unexpected alerts, and never ever use the contact info in the alert itself. Go through official channels you already know and trust. And third, please implement multi-factor authentication. MFA is one of the single best things you can do to protect an account, even if a password gets stolen. Those immediate steps are like your fire extinguisher. They're crucial for an emergency. But for long-term safety, you don't want to just put out fires, you want a fireproof building. So let's talk about building a truly proactive shield against these kinds of evolving threats.
This really means leveling up your whole strategy. You need advanced threat detection tools that can spot malicious content inside a legitimate email. You need to monitor your account activity like a hawk, setting up alerts for anything that looks weird. And hey, if you don't have this expertise in-house, there is no shame in partnering with a cybersecurity consultant who lives and breathes this stuff every single day.
Ultimately, the big takeaway here is that sitting back and just reacting to attacks isn't a strategy anymore. It's a recipe for disaster. As cybercrime gets smarter, a proactive, layered defense is the only way you're going to truly protect your company's data and its reputation.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. This whole attack proves that criminals are now weaponizing the very systems and brands we're taught to trust. So as they get smarter and more deceptive, we have to ask ourselves a tough question. Is our own instinct to trust becoming our single biggest vulnerability? Food for thought. Thanks for watching.